What's Mouse's favorite game? Hide and
I,
squeak.
it's what?
Hide and squeak.
Well,
Is
the
someone
problem
getting
is,
arrested or?
yeah, it's a fire truck, I think.
Okay.
It's burning the place down, so another mouse.
Yeah.
Starting over, going elsewhere. Yeah,
Oh man.
we're having a blast.
Oh, why are you having a blast?
Well, we got mice in the apartment, and
Okay.
Evan don't do mice.
Quite the pipsqueak.
Yeah, I think Marilee's looking at apartments right now, actually, if I was to wager a guess. No, she's shaking her head no. She already sent me all the ones she wants to consider. Well, she's reading obituaries. Well, that took a darker turn.
3 weeks ago, Evan said he was never leaving his apartment.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're pretty happy there until the mice
I am.
situation.
When there's no rodents.
Mm.
But when rodents are here, I get very uncomfortable. I don't do it. Yeah. Speaking of very uncomfortable, do you guys want to talk about a race?
No.
Sure, let's go with the Chinese. Oh, not that.
That took me so long.
Like I said, it's my last episode. I don't care if I
man.
get canceled.
Why do you want to start with them specifically? No. Let's
money tonight.
Well, listen, I feel like the elephant that's scared of mice, so let's start with the elephant in the room. What about
this? Is
what
a
about
baseball
that
podcast now.
What?
This is a baseball podcast now. I don't know what you're talking about.
So why don't we talk about the debacle that was the last 25 laps at Martinsville this week?
Yeah, Kyle Larson got passed for the win. So,
well, there's actually a lot to unpack. Let's talk about the race manipulation side of it and the outcome, unfortunately, for my year-long pick for the champion, Christopher Bell.
I mean,
for the entire sport, for one, not just C Bell. It was absolute garbage.
I'm on the same opinion here as Donnie. I know, Corey, you kind of have a little bit of a different thought process, so go for it.
Not about the manipulation part. Like, obviously, Toyota and Chevy were both manipulating the race, but I do feel that him losing his spot was a little bit warranted, but even that's meh. Like, he rode the wall. You can't deny he rode the wall. NASCAR has made it quite clear that they don't want that. I mean, the initial move he made
for a safety violation.
Yeah, I know that's a stupid thing. It wasn't a safety violation. I agree with that.
He lost the car, put it into the wall, kept it on the wall. NASCAR's saying, no, next time steer down into traffic and drive into other people and wreck the field because safety comes first.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, the way they worded it being a safety violation, I don't agree with that. The rules should be like no wall riding, and that's why he got. But the rule's not like that because NASCAR, they just like to keep things vague and do what they want. So,
he had no other option.
I know, but this was NASCAR's way of I don't know, man.
It was just
yes and no, I guess.
Yes and no, yes and yes. No,
they did put a Chevy in 100%, but like. He did ride the wall. Like, if it comes down to the rules they want, he rode the wall, and that's what they went with. Like, they said they didn't take the manipulation. Stop talking over me.
15 laps with a parade.
So, I will say, I do believe the ambiguity of the rule does give NASCAR the option to do this. And therein lies a complaint I've had ever since Richmond, that we do not write anything black and white. It's always, that was too far, or we don't like that, or, whatever term NASCAR wants to use. The reality is, if that was written in black and white, no wall riding, then Christopher Bell probably hauls it off the wall and then pins it, right? But he knows he's not doing the same thing. That's not the same thing that that Ross Chastain did.
No,
at
100%.
all.
It was totally
Right?
different.
Not even close.
But
The
I mean, I think what happened, he went for his move and then ran out of talent and panicked and put it in the wall.
Nothing
So
about running out of talent. You just had to make the move and go loose. Like, you hit that rub there. It doesn't matter how talented you are.
I know. I'm
Like,
just giving you a hard time, Donnie. I'm getting you going.
To be fair, he didn't know that Bubba Wallace had a tire going down. So I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, fire going down.
So I will say this about that situation: that whole situation does not happen without Austin Dillon and Ross Chastain doing what they did.
100%.
Because he
like, there
lost
needs
like
to be some
a lap.
huge punishment. Like,
Oh,
Austin
absolutely.
Dillon has no business being in the sport anymore. The BS that he pulled earlier this year, and then you're not even in the playoffs, and you're a back marker, and you're deciding the playoffs. It's absolute horse. My dad promised me not to swear tonight.
So
It's
Ross
horse crap.
Chastain too, or just
Yeah,
Austin
the
Dillon?
guy's an idiot. Like, both of them. Like, when has Ross Chastain decided not to put his balls on and drive? Like, he's one of the most
But
aggressive guys in the field. He doesn't back down. That's what people love about him. And then you go and you freaking pull this crap. Like,
yeah, but can
it's a
you like?
joke.
You can't put all the blame on them because they're getting their orders too. Like, yeah, but their jobs are on the line. Like, we do a lot of
No, they're
things
not.
if
They're
our
signed
all their
contracts. You
yeah,
think
but
his
still,
grandfather's going to fire him?
I'm talking about Ross, maybe in Ross Chastain's
You
case more
think they're
so.
going to
But
get
like,
rid of Chastain, one of the
no,
biggest
I'm
fan
just saying, who
favorites in
was
the
it
sport?
early in the
Like,
year? Who early in the year got yelled at for
Parker
something happened?
Retzlaff
Yes, exactly. So
for
like,
pushing Harrison Burton to the win.
yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, like, there's obviously the
Okay, there's a
manufacturers
difference
are like
between
telling
Parker
these drivers
Retzlaff.
stuff.
Like, I can't believe
And
they
Chris,
just had Parker's back. Wow.
So here's what this all comes down to for me. The easiest way to fix this whole problem is to make it so that the teams aren't reliant upon manufacturer money. Like, that's
100%.
the problem. NASCAR has to begin to share their money in a bigger way so that these teams can hire who they want, run the way they want, and only look out for themselves. The fact that a manufacturer could walk in there yesterday and say, we're doing whatever it takes for one of our guys to get in is absolutely just. Sorry, it's not crazy that a manufacturer would say that. The fact that the teams bought in because they're fearful of the repercussions, that was the slowest way I could have said that. But that's absolutely disgusting
It
that
is.
a manufacturer has that much pull in our sport. I
But it's
would get
always
it.
Chevy.
What's that?
It's always Chevy. It's the Corvette meetings at Talladega. It's all, like, it's Chevrolet every time, and NASCAR friggin' caters to them, and they're the golden child. Like, you go to a NASCAR track and everybody's Chevy. Like, it's everywhere. Like,
Well, yeah, because Toyotas suck. So I mean,
well, like, legit, like, this is what's stupid is, like, this sport has already been, you know what I mean? You pay to play. Like, there's going to be guys that are better drivers that aren't, you know what I mean? Aren't in there. Like, Ryan Truex should have been in Cup before Harrison Burton, but Harrison Burton's got the money. I mean, that's been a tough pill to swallow. But it's one thing, pay to play, but now we're paying to win. Like, it's stupid. It's not a sport anymore. Like, if you can just buy win, like, you look at Byron and Jeff Gordon when all this was going down. Bell just looks scared to death. And Byron and Jeff are standing there laughing because they know very well, don't worry, NASCAR's got her back. Like, it's BS.
The other thing is too, though, Bell also knows that his actions technically are possibly breaking a rule. With Byron, the only ones who broke the rules potentially are the guys behind him, right? He didn't force anyone to block. Like, of course, he's going to be a
He
little
didn't
more.
break rules, though. Like,
Listen,
you can't say saving it on the wall, and, like, you had no other choice. Like, if he would have just, up beside Bubba and pushed him out of the way and rode the wall, then absolutely. He stayed on the wall to keep it from going down and wrecking other people.
yeah, but he also accelerated on the wall as well, which is probably their issue.
So
Like,
what? You
I,
slam your
I,
brakes
I,
on in the wall and collect who's behind you?
well, most guys don't keep. When if you're on the wall, you
Yeah, but
usually,
when you're three
you're
wide,
wrecking.
when you're 3 wide and people are getting pushed up, and
I'm
you know what
just
I
saying
mean?
what I think NASCAR seen was probably that he kept accelerating, and that's
I think actually Donnie's. I think what NASCAR saw was they had an opportunity to get a third
well,
manufacturer in there and took
probably
it.
that's
But
probably
that's what I mean. Like Byron's actions weren't technically questionable, and I think that's why Bell was probably stressed more than Byron because he knows that his actions are the ones being scrutinized, right? Like Bell or Byron wasn't under scrutiny. Worst case scenario, he just didn't make it in, right?
yeah.
Bell, unfortunately, knew he
But
had
like
every chance of getting robbed.
NASCAR needs to be throwing a black flag or something on those two guys there. Like if you're not like
Hey,
that
I'm
was
all for
blatant,
that.
and I mean it was blatant for a long time.
To the
Like
point the announcers were calling it out.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I feel like I was there like 10 laps saying what the frig is this garbage?
Yeah,
Like this wasn't a last lap. Like you know what I mean?
right.
Yeah,
Like
I would
that
I
black
would
I mean
flag
love
like
to
thing's
know.
interesting.
I would love to know if Rudy Fugle talked to either of those crew chiefs before that incident.
I mean, people are obviously talking to each other. Like they all knew. Like there's no way that they
But
didn't
I
say,
mean
hey,
during the race.
yeah,
Did he say, "Hey, if I lose these 2 spots, are you gonna pass me?" Right?
yeah.
Like
Hard to
you
it's
know.
can't go
just
down.
it's
You can't go down when they're at your bumper and ask them. So either everyone knew in advance, which means it's an entire Chevrolet issue, or he spoke to those 2 team members, or somebody from Chevrolet spoke to them on his behalf. But somebody somewhere pulled a string that never should have been pulled, and it's an absolutely disgusting look for the sport.
not a sport. It's entertainment.
Well, that's
It is
fair,
like
That is
there's
fair.
no like
but that's been the way it's been going.
yeah, the whole
We've
format needs to be changed. The whole like this, I'm done with the sport. Like I said, like it's just it's not a sport. It's it's stupid. Like it's absolutely
If anyone's
ridiculous.
looking for slightly used Truex and Christopher Bell gear, they'll be up for sale in Harvey Station here within the next week.
but you have to be a Harvey Station 8 to fit in.
Yeah. Oh man.
So, like, you're not coming to the race with us next year if we go?
Nope. It's like no. Like how are you excited about anything NASCAR related? Like the system's rigged. It's not a sport. Like you're literally watching cars drive around in a circle for no reason. It's like whose line is it anyway? We're going to drive around a circle and the points don't matter because NASCAR's going to pick who they want to win at the
I'm
So wait,
just
hold on. So you think NASCAR wants it to be Tyler Reddick and Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and William Byron in the Final Four right now? Because I don't think that's the
more
dream
than they
Final
want
Four
it to
that they
be
want.
Christopher Bell in there.
Like
Okay,
that's like
Ryan
this is like
Blaney,
the
hundred
worst Final
percent.
Four they could imagine.
Ryan Blaney, 100%. They want him. He's the
Oh yeah,
defending
Ryan Blaney
champion.
probably, but like I don't know, man. With Tyler Reddick,
Joey
definitely not.
Logano is the two-time champ, has history on his side with even years. Like, of course they're gonna like him in it. Tyler Reddick, no,
No.
because of the whole 23-11 thing. But like, here's my thing too. Like Natalie brought up today, she's like, the Netflix show is going to be something interesting next year. I'm like, how the heck does NASCAR even go ahead and film anything?
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is a complete joke. Like, NASCAR's got to be thinking, like, I don't know, let's just scrap it. Like, there's no way to look good in any of that.
well, we know Chase Elliott is not in it, so there's that.
Yeah. And that's what boggles my mind too. Like the most popular driver in the sport and does nothing for it. And
Yeah,
like,
but
don't get me wrong, I realize
here's an argument I heard. What's he getting paid to do it? Probably not a thing.
but it doesn't
Like, why
matter.
would you do it?
It
It
I think it
does.
matters.
Here, because I was on your side, Evan. That was what I was preaching earlier in this year. NASCAR doesn't distribute the money out. All you're
Exactly.
doing is making NASCAR richer. If they're not going to pay you, all you're doing is lining their pockets. So why?
Yep. Like
Like
it's
until
just
you get a better agreement that hey, we're going to get a piece of the pie, then yeah, okay, I'll show up and I'll put some work in for the guy beside me. But if you're working just for the higher ups that make these stupid decisions week after week that have ruined this sport, then no, heck 'em. I
so
wouldn't show up either.
So wait, you mean to tell me? I didn't know this. You mean to tell me that the people acting or on the show, like Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, those guys got nothing for last
Oh,
year?
we have no idea, but like that's the question to ask. Like, are they
Oh,
getting
okay.
anything? Because from the way NASCAR is, I'm guessing they're probably not, or very little, if any, because they don't get any of their merchandise sales. Like basically peanuts. Supposedly Kyle Larson makes more money from his dirt racing than he does on his NASCAR merch.
No, I believe the statement is he made more in one weekend
Exactly.
than he did in his whole season with NASCAR stuff. Is
Like that's
actually
just absolutely wild.
I think that was Door Bumper Clear. I heard that on.
Could have been, but
Which is So like, I will say, if I was a team owner in the sport right now, I would be saying, "How do I get in on this lawsuit?" Like, or what do I need to do differently? Which that lawsuit actually, I believe it basically started today. The trial on the injunction,
which is interesting. Some of the stuff that came out there, right? Basically, if 2311 can't don't get approved, they got to run whatever they call it, like separate.
Open.
Tyler Reddick his contract is void. He can just walk out if he wants.
He'd be a hot ticket.
Yeah. And there was another thing. Oh, what else was it? Something else. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But it was like, okay, so this is some big.
Well, and
all their sponsors can walk too. That was the other thing.
Yeah, well, of course they can.
Yeah,
and you think about it this way, okay? So look at this from Stuart Haas's perspective. Okay, you've got 2 charters that you have sold, right? Well, you can't sell them because NASCAR controls who you can sell them to. You can't sell them to 2311 because they have no guarantee that their charters are even going to matter. You can't sell it to Front Row Motorsport for the same reason, okay? So now you've got a 3rd charter sitting there. What is it worth?
Yeah.
Nobody's shopping right now. And the 2 teams, you've got 3 sitting there, so you're desperate. So, like, it's not only 2311 and FRM that have to be upset about this whole situation. I would imagine Gene Haas and Tony Stewart are quite upset about it, considering Tony Stewart's trying to get out of it. I'm sure he wants some money. Maybe this is just a huge scheme to screw Tony Stewart one more time. But, like, what is the deal? It's absolutely disgusting. And I can't believe that more teams have not looked at a way to do this, like to join in this lawsuit. And I know that they signed a document saying they wouldn't, but I guarantee you, if you win an antitrust lawsuit, then a contract saying you can't sue for antitrust is probably null and void.
Yeah.
Like I am very disheartened at the current state of the sport. The only thing that gives me any real optimism is the fact that if ever there was someone I think can win this lawsuit, it probably is Michael Jordan and his team. Like, I don't think they're coming with very little ammunition. I think they're loaded for bear.
Now, supposedly, they also said that the new agreement or something, the teams are getting almost half of revenue. That was told today as well. But I mean, I don't know what they were getting before, but I guess it is fairly significant. But it's still probably not even close.
I think they were still getting 40% or something. Like, it's not a huge increase.
Okay.
But yeah, it is unfortunate. But in positive news, Ryan Blaney was the fastest car yesterday, and he did win, and rightfully so. I felt he kind of got robbed last week a little bit.
I mean, it wasn't for lack of trying letting a tire run down track throwing green. Like, how stupid of a week is it that we threw a green flag with a tire rolling down the track, and that's not the story of the week. People have already forgotten about it.
I actually did forget about that.
Yeah, because Ryan Blaney lost 2 spots at that.
Yeah.
Right?
Instead of just throwing off the restart.
Although, to be fair, making him mad might have been exactly what he needed to get back to the front. But, you're right. What kind of concept is it? Like, and then not to just go, sorry, we shouldn't have thrown the green. We're going to re-rack him exactly the same as you were. Like, no choose cone. Like, go get the tire, bring that car down pit road. Let's go. Like, it should have been 2 laps.
Common sense. Just common sense decisions that we refuse to make time after time. And just how can we screw this up and lose credibility?
Hey, listen, at least they're successful with this.
Yeah, consistently inconsistent.
Well, that's a good podcast name. We should start a new podcast.
We're just trying to get
This
through
is
the
it
year
for
in
me.
this
I'm
one.
retired.
Yeah, no, I was happy for Blaney. I do feel like he is deserving to be in the Final Four. Probably more than his teammate. Truthfully, well, I mean, Joey has not had. No, hang on. Joey hasn't had the same type of consistent season that Ryan has. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying Joey didn't play by the rules and didn't earn a spot. I'm
Joey
not saying
got it
that.
the same way that Blaney got it. So
No, I know. I get
got
that.
twice in the playoffs.
Yeah. Easy. I'm just saying
And then
Blaney
even lost and still got through.
Yeah.
Like
No, I'm just saying.
it's been a season.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that like Blaney's been very good all year long. Like it's never been, in my opinion, questionable. Truthfully, I think 3 out of the 4 are very deserving to be in the Final Four, and then there's that 4th car from the manufacturer that happens to be the manufacturer my guy drives for. That I'm not convinced deserves to be there at all.
Byron,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say him and Joey are the 2 guys in my opinion who shouldn't
questionable.
They're questionable, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to take it away from them because I mean they're there. They use playoff format to their advantage, I guess. But
they didn't have any rules written to take them out.
But let's be honest. Like Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson both deserve to be there. Like out of everybody, those 2 are the guys who've had the best years. Like
Reddick, regular season champ.
Yeah, no, Tyler Reddick, I believe, deserves to be there as well. Like he had a terrible playoffs. He had a terrible playoffs, but his regular season was super consistent. So,
but can you imagine if he goes out and wins the championship next week and then the team's done? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah,
I can 100% imagine it.
It's
like what would be perfect if I freaking read about it Monday morning is Christopher Bell wins the race and Reddick finishes second, wins the championship. Like,
I don't know. I would love to see that Bass Pro Shops like DEI throwback that's supposedly running around the. I'd love to see that get a win too, but I don't see it.
You're just trying to keep me on the podcast, but it's too late to cheer for Truex now.
No, listen. I get it.
Don't even.
I think it'd be a beautiful thing.
Too little, too late.
I would buy that diecast.
Let's be honest. Chastain's going to be throwing a watermelon at the end of Phoenix.
No, this would be the year that Bell's brakes don't break.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's unfortunate. It's a horrible way to end a 3-year streak.
Unfortunate. It's ridiculous. Like, unfortunate was him losing his brakes last year. That's unfortunate. This is bloody ridiculous. Like, hey, congrats, I'm making it, but
I don't know why you're so worked up. I told you this was going to happen. I picked Bell to be out of it, so I mean...
Actually, speaking of, why don't we take a look?
Picks, how many points you need, Corey, with your picks to win?
I'm done, bud.
Exactly.
I can watch stress-free. But I brought down some good drivers with me. Alex Bowman out of the playoffs, thanks to me. Christopher Bell out of the playoffs, thanks to me. Man, I'm a jinx.
Don't forget Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson, yeah. Oh, man, that's rough. But, hey. He just had 2 sucky races. I can't, he just was not good at Vegas or Homestead. So what do you do? He definitely tried, though, but... Yeah, it's the format. Like, in my opinion, what they got to change the playoffs. But I know the whole race manipulation thing isn't new, but
I think we need to go back to what it was. Just 36 races. Every race
works for F1.
Yeah,
like if it works for F1, like
it works for anywhere there's racing. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
100%.
if you want wins to matter more, make them more points.
Yeah.
But like this whole ridiculousness of. We're watching Harrison Burton in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
a guy that's not even good enough to have a ride for next year.
I agree.
Let's
I'd rather see Burton in the 3 than that idiot Dylan.
And like people are saying like, oh well, you'll know the winner like 20-some races or end of the year. I'm like, I don't think you will with this car now. Like, but that was back in the day when there was such a
1 point
discrepancy
was the
between cars.
regular season between
Yeah,
Reddick and
exactly.
Larson.
Like,
You know what I
I think
mean?
it come right down pretty much every year, the last 4 or 5 races. And
Larson and Reddick both having a bad playoff. That leaves room open for a guy like Christopher Bell. You know what I mean?
yeah,
A great
exactly.
playoff. Like it
Yeah, I
brings
agree. Like,
legitimacy to it. Like you can't even say these guys are champions. Like whoever win, like if Byron wins Sunday, like that's just ridiculous. Like congrats, you're a champion, but it got handed to you.
In sport, you can't have a Game 7 moment every year, and this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a Game 7 to win the finals every year, and it just doesn't happen in sport. And
but here's the problem with the whole Game 7 analogy.
Game was the Game 6. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be Game 7. Like lock it up the week before in magnificent fashion. Like,
but here's the problem with
Blaney won the championship with his pass, or not Blaney, but Reddick. He won it with that pass in Homestead. Who cares if that's where the season ended? That was a great way to walk it off. Like
Reddick fans are gonna be like crazy happy, and other people are like, "Oh, hey, that was a good race." Like,
but the problem with the Game 7 moment is you have 7 games to get there. We don't have that. We have one race. It's stupid.
100%.
Like I would rather see eliminate the first 4 in one race than choose the champion in one. Like it's
gotta go. Playoff system has to go. Like,
I would be okay going back to the chase format where you reset after 10 races and only those 10. Like, I would be much more okay with that versus what we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was better, but no. I think, like, stack them up and give more points for the win, however you want to pick that.
Yeah, fastest lap, give a point for that. You know, like lead the most laps, give a point for that. Like, make people want to race. Like, incentivize guys. Like,
yeah, it used to be
keep the chase, like, or not the chase, but keep the stages.
Stage, you know exactly. Like it just.
And you'll see, stage racing like Daytona where guys aren't just like, if every point matters, like, you know what I mean. You're not going to care if you're pushing a Ford if it means you got a chance for the win. Like,
100%.
There's none of this garbage.
I will tell you right now. So back in the Winston Cup format, you got 5 points for leading a lap, 5 points for leading the most. Can you imagine going to Daytona or Talladega where there was 5 points on the line for leading the most laps?
Crazy.
We wouldn't talk about fuel mileage at all. It wouldn't even be in the discussion. It would be lead every lap you can, pit, we'll fill you up, go again, and try and lead as many as you can there. Like,
and there's not one driver leaves that race being, "Hey, I'm in the playoffs now." Like,
right?
Can you imagine the first race this season? Someone's gonna be like, "I'm in the playoffs. I don't even care about the rest of the year." It's like it's just wild.
I mean, it happened with friggin' Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah.
Not last year, but the year before. The first week of the season, we knew Ricky Stenhouse has a chance in the playoffs. It was foolishness.
No, it was last year because the first year was
Byron won last year.
No, Byron won this year.
Yeah, Byron won this year.
Last Daytona.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so it was Byron, Stenhouse, and Cindric. Like, Stenhouse and Cindric, both of them are like, what? Same as McDowell was the year before.
I'll give Cindric credit. Like, he actually, put up a decent run in the playoffs this year. Like,
better than I thought.
Yeah.
Actually, it's amazing how many guys put up better runs than I thought. He did. Briscoe did. Like, who saw Briscoe getting into the round of 12 or round of 16?
Bowman.
Thank you. I didn't want to bring him up again. I don't want to be the only one. I guess yesterday he finished 13th without power steering, which that seems like a track that sucks to have no power steering at. Suarez, even as much as I'm not a Suarez fan, the fact he got out of the round of 16, was more than I thought.
I wish Kyle Larson or somebody else would listen at the end, though. Because I feel like Brad Taylor drove right through those clouds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, Brad's got too much respect for Blaney.
No, he's not causing caution there.
It's his mentor, you know what I mean?
I will say, Blaney was not afraid to use the bumper yesterday. It felt a lot more like old Martinsville, good Martinsville, I will add.
Yeah.
I used that.
It was a good race, up to all the craziness. It was, the first stage was a little, nothing much going on, but man, it picked up good after that.
And Larson giving it back to him too. Like that's what I
Yeah.
like to see. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like race the guys how you want to be raced, and
Yep.
like,
Same
race.
with
You know what I mean? Like that's racing. Like that's what you tune in for. You don't
right.
tune in for 10 laps and two guys blocking the field, so Willie can limp his car home.
Yeah, like chunk the rubber flying off the tires and everything. That was wild.
Like,
was
oh,
it
this is good.
actually? I'm surprised that wasn't a debris caution, knowing the way NASCAR loves to have late race drama.
Yeah, I'm
Mind blowing
surprised
they
it was
didn't
not
throw a
caution.
caution for that, and they should have, in my opinion.
They should have, because it would have stopped the whole.
It would have
craziness,
stopped the
too.
whole thing. Yep, fix that. Everyone's getting tires. Now let's see who's fast.
Probably still Blaney at that point.
Oh,
I want
100%.
to say Larson, but he did not have good start shifts. He did not have short run speed at all.
No.
Anyways,
let's take a look at who we thought would be eliminated this round. Oh, I guess I scrolled down too far. So, Donnie said that Reddick would be eliminated, Blaney would be eliminated, Joey Logano would be eliminated, and Chase Elliott would be eliminated. So Donnie,
who would be in?
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry,
I thought it was who would get in.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
So he went 1 for 4. Corey had Tyler
for 7.
Easy. Corey had Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney. So you were very close to going 1 for 4 as well.
Yep.
So you went 2 for 4, and I said Reddick would be out, Elliott would be out, Logano would be out, and Hamlin would be out. So we all got it wrong on Larson. We all thought he would be in. But yeah, that's.
So you got 3 right? Who'd you have?
No, I only had Elliott and Hamlin eliminated. Right, I had Reddick and.
Oh,
Logano
you said Reddick out. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I'll be honest.
Fair, I had Logano making it, but I picked Byron that week, so I could be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't want to be
Byron's going to make it, but yeah, so I was just played 1 for 1. So I mean,
that was the same reason why I didn't pick Reddick at Homestead, because I have him not making the final 4, so I can't pick him, and I should have went with him.
Yeah, I will say, because we're leading into picks, obviously, and I've got to say, this year has been so much more fun having that third person involved, and it's kept it way closer, because last year Donnie kicked my butt. I think it was like 7 races out, and I could hardly catch him at that point. So,
to be fair, you were picking
championship should be won and race.
Yeah, I agree. We're what, 2 points apart from top to bottom right now?
And actually,
3.
I'm 3. Yeah, I can't touch you.
You actually lose your regular season point.
Why?
No give reason. That's just the decision we made. It's in the rules.
Okay. It was
Our
a safety
discretion.
issue.
Yeah.
It's a safety issue.
So the best you can do now is tie me, and I got the tiebreaker. Sorry, pal.
How many wins do you got on the season?
Too many.
It's got like 3 or 4.
You got 4, yeah.
I have 0.
Theoretically, I can end this weekend with 3.
Yeah.
So do we want to talk picks? Talk how that went this week?
I already kind of did. I jinxed Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
You won. Donnie came in like 7th or something.
I got 2 points. So it's now 16 for me, 15 for Donnie, and 13 for Corey. And everything.
Wait, how many for Donnie?
15.
15, and I have 13.
Yeah.
I can't even beat Donnie.
You can't finish second anymore. No, you're officially removed from competition. So it is between Donnie and I for final point. If Donnie doesn't have to pick the winning driver, he has to just pick the driver that beats mine and Corey's. If Corey picks the best driver, I win. And if I pick the best driver, I win. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Donnie needs 1 point. It's his only hope. But
hey, Corey, do you mind if we talk off the radio here and form an alliance? A under the table stuff. I got a tire going down. Harrison Burton, code Harrison Burton.
Oh, Michelin Man's got lots of extra tires there. You don't
yeah.
need to worry about the one.
Easy.
Hi, Kettle. I'm Pot.
All right, Evan, who are you taking to win this thing?
So here's what sucks: is this is not an easy pick.
It's not. Because none of them are clear-cut favorites.
No, but I have got to go with the assumption that it's going to be a Penske car. So it's really a toss-up from between the two.
Really? It's a toss-up between the two? Okay.
Listen, man.
I don't think it's going to be a toss-up between the two.
Logano's had a horseshoe like no man's business throughout this playoffs. Even when he was eliminated, someone else got removed so he could be in. He was like
I think Byron took that from him.
Yeah, but there's luck and then there's speed.
I know, and I think I would be ludicrous to not. I think I would hate myself if I didn't take Blaney and I lost the point. So I am going to go back-to-back. I think I'm the only person that's been able to go back-to-back this year because of the way it's falling. I am going to take Ryan Blaney.
Perfect.
Good pick.
If I had first pick, I would have stuck with black and yellow, Joey Logano. Riding this to a championship. And I'll read about it Monday if he does.
You're taking Logano.
Yeah.
All right, well, as much as I don't want to, I think Toyota's going to put everything they have behind Tyler Reddick, and you know what? Why not? I'll take Reddick. I don't think Byron's got it this year at all.
Harrison Burton. Did you not hit the code? What are you doing?
Does the crew chief of the one know the deal?
You just possibly handed Evan the win.
Well, I mean, I probably just jinxed Reddick, so that was kind of probably... Maybe that's my strategy call, too, so Toyota doesn't win.
You got to watch the race with them, so...
Yeah.
Well, he was here when Alex Bowman won in Chicago. So I'll tell you right now, if I win picks, it's probably going to be just as good of a celebration.
I feel bad I won't be on the podcast to see it if you do.
Maybe we'll record on location in Corey's house. See how many locations we can hit this year.
There you go.
I guess you've recorded there every week. Maybe that wouldn't count as a new location. Very self-centered tonight, I am.
I'm sorry, Donnie. Wish I could just give you a big hug. But my arms aren't that long.
Donnie could give you a big hug.
Oh, it sucks.
For the record, it was like if you watched wrestling all your life and yesterday you found it was fake. You know what I mean? Like it was that devastating.
Well, I mean, we've all known this.
I know what you mean, because that's why I said the group chat.
You did?
Yes. Word for word what I said.
About the wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah, you did actually. No, you did mention wrestling.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm scrolling back to see it now because, like...
Oh, that's funny.
If you're going to plagiarize, make sure the guy's not on the show that you plagiarize.
As a great man once said. Oh, man. I don't know. Donnie said a lot of stuff in those couple of sentences.
Yeah.
So I understand why you just kind of glanced over it.
But, yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. But like I said, I just can't invest in this crapshoot anymore of a so-called sport. So I'll probably watch the 500 and see from there. But
if a Toyota wins, he'll be back, folks.
Toyota might not even be in the sport.
Yeah, that's also true.
I will say, actually, next week we get to do our draw for the $200 worth of merchandise. So that'll be exciting. But
on the edge of my seat.
I know.
Right.
So all three of you better be listening. But
I just hope my name's picked.
yeah. I will say we
Kevin's
don't.
hoping his is, so he doesn't spend the money. No, Mom, I have to spend the money. A deal's a deal.
Yeah.
So here's the $200 of Bowman stuff I'm buying. Give me your card number.
Thanks for funding the
The
podcast.
integrity of the podcast.
Oh man.
I will say, at this point, we don't actually have any firm idea of what we're doing next year. So, really hope to have you back.
I'm
What?
pretty firm. I'm
Okay.
pretty firm as in my seat's ready for Kevin. Stall bombs is all yours, buddy.
We don't know. We don't know what we're doing as far as Corey and I. Apparently, Donnie has
Let's
made
end
up his
this.
mind. He is done, which is totally fair. But for what it's worth, we were discussing this long before yesterday about what it looked like going forward. So make sure you check in next week. It could be the last time you hear from us three in this form. Actually, no, sorry. Donnie's not even coming back next week, I hear. So it could be the last time you hear from Donnie or Corey and I in this format. But I will say this. If we never do this again, and I want to say this because it's the three of us, if we never do this again in the three of us, I really appreciate you two coming along with me for this ride. It was a lot of fun. Also, a little bit upsetting and angry at times with each other and with the sport as a whole. But I do really appreciate you guys doing this with me. I know I asked a lot of two guys who didn't really think they wanted to be on camera or on mic.
Are you tearing up, or is there a mouse running around your feet?
I don't see any mice. My feet are elevated.
That's good. It helps with circulation, they say, for diabetics.
See, can't even have a serious moment.
Oh
Do you
man.
think that's it though? Like they just smell the blood sugar?
Why do you have to be the way you are?
You tried keto?
Yeah, I actually liked the food I was allowed to eat, but you're still only allowed to eat like until you're full, which is so stupid. Like, I bet you any money if you had an all-you-can-eat keto buffet, it would be a hot ticket.
Yeah.
You should try Plexus.
It is the end-all be-all.
It's not about weight loss. It's about how you feel.
Right.
And I feel delusional.
Oh my. Okay. We need to end this. We're way off the rails.
All right. Thanks, guys, again.
What's the new sport for next year?
New sport for next year?
Formula One?
I mean,
Indy.
No, not it. I'd take Formula One over Indy any day.
We doing hockey?
No, not hockey.
Tour de France? We're going to do one podcast. Donnie, well, actually, we could do
Donnie,
a preview.
We'll call it Donnie Does Life.
We'll each have an exercise bike and we'll just do the podcast on that.
I have one of those. I'll probably have to
the tour to... Okay, that's it for this week, guys. Thanks.
See, this is what the podcast could have been all along, but you guys, I don't know,
man,
didn't love me enough to make fun of me. All right, hombres, I'm going to end it. Is that fair?
All right.
All right. Later, guys.